Hello and welcome to our special broadcast on the Border Gavaskar Trophy and subsequently the WPL. Our usual host, either Trisha or Shubhan, aren't there today, so I will fill in. But we've got a packed house. We've got Joydeep Mukherjee. Thank you very much for joining. We've got Atriya Mukhopadhyay from Ahmedabad. He was there at the Border Gavaskar Trophy 4th Test match. Devashish Sen from Kolkata and Bharat Ramraj, who gave us some extremely interesting statistics about Cameron Green, joining us from Bangalore. Atriya, to you first. You were there at the ground. Let's start with the Australian batting effort. 480 conventional cricket batting, test match batting. They will be very pleased with what they have achieved. India has to do really well on day 3 to stay in the test match.
Well, it was really a very disciplined effort. I mean, we all know that Usman Khwaja was the backbone of the innings, and he received great assistance from Cam Green. Together they put together a 200-run partnership for the 5th wicket. But what they should be more pleased with, and what might hurt India a little bit more, is the 9th wicket partnership. At 409 for 8, India might have felt that they could wrap up the innings by 425 or thereabout. To be able to stretch the total to almost near 500 to 480 was something that I don't think the Australians expected this, and this might be something that hurt India in going ahead into this match. So yes, Khwaja and Green, no doubt about that. We all know about that. But the 9th wicket partnership was equally crucial.
I think Atriya makes a very important point, Joydeep, that 9th wicket partnership between Todd Murphy and Nathan Lyon in the context of the game. But from what you've seen so far, let me just take you to a little bit about the Indian bowling. You know, on a wicket which was offering little, 6 for 91 of 40 plus overs, Ravichandran Ashwin should be mighty pleased with this effort.
Absolutely, spot on. This is where he separates the men from the boys, playing on minefields and playing on wickets, on getting wickets on such pitches where you're going to really work hard for your runs. Modi, I saw your pre-show yesterday and you made a very important point. I'm really surprised India is playing on a wicket like this, because on this wicket, you have to win the toss. Okay, and there's a 50% chance of that happening. Okay, if you win the toss, everything pans out really well for you. If you don't win the toss, this is what can happen. I still feel yesterday Australia gave up a lot of the wickets to India. They could have easily been 600. You look at Travis Head gave his wicket away. Steve Smith gave his wicket away. Most of them very loose dismissal. There were no balls turning sharply, caught in the slips, caught bat pan. None of that happened yesterday. The only guy who shut shop for the day was Usman Khwaja, played old style cricket, retro cricket, whatever you call it. But I'm surprised that India's not one test match on a wicket which helps us, and we've panicked. Now, if you play England in England, and if you have 5 test matches, and if you win 1 on a green top because you've done well and the batters haven't, they'll still give you a green top in the next one.
Correct.
So why have you panicked and played on a placid wicket where winning the toss is a must? You don't, you're up against it. I still feel Australia could have got 600. Steve Smith out for 30 like that. Labuschagne out for 20 like that. Travis said giving it up at mid-on won't happen. This could have been a 600 run.
Okay.
I'm much surprised.
Bharat Ramraj, 4 down Australia, and then that fantastic partnership before I go to Devashish Sen. Talk to me about Cameron Green. Atriya spoke about Usman Khwaja and the effort. You've been talking about Cameron Green in our group right through the morning. Talk to me about that Cameron Green innings, Bharat. I think you're on mute, Bharat.
Mute.
Yeah. Go on. There's still an audio issue. I think you need to just, Bharat, disconnect and come back. Let me take that question to Devashish. Devashish, the same question. Talk to me about Cameron Green, because you tweeted that if Cameron Green was playing the first 2 test matches, what would have happened? You posed a counter question. Pitches were different. Nothing may have happened, but that's a different point. But talk to me about Cameron Green today.
Yeah, obviously. He looked very, very dominating. And let's to put it straight away. He brings the value to the Australian batting lineup, coming in at number 6, the all-round position. And remember, he got a 5-wicket haul as well. and today he scored his first 100. His second highest score was also against India, 84 runs. So and remember, he missed the first two test matches against India. So I still believe Cameron Green in that Australian batting order would have added more value. Obviously, you never know in a test match cricket. Obviously, Australia might still end up losing 0-2, as was the case. But still, I think Cameron Green in the last match as in indoor as well, is played that crucial 22 runs in the middle order, and today was a fascinating innings. Fascinating innings.
Okay, Jaideep.
Yeah, this was as placid a wicket as you'll see. Nothing in it, listless. I think Mama, with Sunil Gavaskar sir's coaching for 7 days, Mama wouldn't have got out on this wicket either.
Do you reckon that this is as placid as like this?
Yeah, I think the sides have a bit of grass. Your head is like a test match, where the umpires are just about to come out. The crowd is filled in, but the ground is empty.
Anyway, okay. Test match, placid wicket, Cameron Green. Athreya, from the standpoint of the Indian bowling, we've been talking Umesh Yadav up. Unfortunately, it was a bad day for Umesh Yadav in office. Too many loose balls. How much did that cost India? Because even our fast bowlers on difficult wickets have done well in home conditions. Thoughts?
See, I think that proved a major letdown, especially in the first session. In the first hour, if you remember, Australia didn't lose a wicket, but the scoring rate was quite low. It was around 2.1 or thereabouts. And in the second hour of the first session, the runs started flowing. And Umesh, at that particular juncture, he had been given a 5-4 leg side field. There were 5 fielders on the leg side, 2 of them short mid wicket and just thereabouts. And he went for a few boundaries through extra cover during that period. So, which means that he had given a particular kind of a field and he bowled to the opposite line. That was loose stuff, and which kind of lifted the pressure from the Australians, because although they didn't lose wickets, they were not able to score in the first hour, if you remember. So that was quite a bit of a letdown from the Indian point of view, because they expect Umesh experienced bowler. So they expect him to at least, if not get wickets on a placid wicket, we all know that, but at least follow the field given to you, bowl according to that. And that is what Umesh failed to do. He had done that yesterday also. So that was Umesh was a bit of a letdown. Not a bit of a letdown, but quite a letdown in this test match.
Okay.
Korea.
The point that Akshay was making about Umesh, Joydeep, I think it will apply for Aksar as well. I mean, too many short balls, too many balls on the leg stump. Australia was playing him easily. As much as his batting has improved, for whatever reason, Akshar Patel, the bowler, has not been able to come into this series. Your thoughts?
No, I think, yeah, for a bowler, sometimes as a batter, when you're out of form, it's a 1 ball or a 2 ball and you're out of there. When a bowler, you're out of form, it's more on your face because you keep bowling the spell. And obviously, Umesh got off on the wrong side of the bed today. But in the last test match, he was brilliant with those wickets. So these can happen. But sometimes the agony of the bowler's off day is a little more than the batters. Number one. Number two is that, Akshar needs a bit of wicket where it's turning a bit. Even Jadeja. That's why he said, you started the program with Ashwin. It's the right note. Just goes to show the old school, the Prasannas, the Bedi. They used to bowl on wickets like this and get wickets. So that's where he showed how good he is. Now he's got 32 times a 5-wicket haul. I mean, it's not always has been a turner. But still, you're going to play 47 overs for his 6 wickets. But unfortunately, he didn't get the support because the others don't have the class that he has of tossing it up in the air, making it drift, spinning it a little more. All that they don't have. So they need a bit of help from the pitch. And there was no help from the pitch for the spinners or the fast bowlers. Jadeja getting Smith on and everything, there was nothing in it. Just loose shots, one of those things that happen.
Devashish, question for you. If I remember right, Rohit took the second new ball after 84 odd overs. And in those 4 overs, I think about 15-20 runs were scored. They were milking the balls, Todd Murphy and Nathan Lyon. When you have 2 tail-enders batting and a partnership has happened already, would you think that maybe India could have just gone with the second new ball at the stroke of 80, the moment 80 overs were done, and get the faster bowlers, and even Ashwin with the extra bounce with the new ball in, because the new ball did the trick and you got the 2 wickets again. So maybe those 15, 20, 25 runs could have been avoided had India taken the new ball a tad earlier.
The third new ball, that is.
Yeah, the third new ball.
Only thing that might be the thing is that you remember the first new ball when India took the first new ball, Cameron Green just he just took off. He yesterday in those 10 overs, 9 overs, 54 runs were scored by the Australia with that say first new ball. So maybe that was going behind because the new ball it comes to the bat, and also for tailenders means runs would have been easier to score. Yes, you rightly said. Maybe perhaps tried with a Ravichandran Ashwin. Take the new ball as it was available as soon and start straight away. Start with Ravichandran Ashwin because he does get a bit of bounce with the new ball. So maybe Rohit may have erred a little bit on a strategy, but having said that, Australians had batted well on this classic track.
Okay. Akshay, you mentioned in your post-match review video about the positive intent shown by Rohit Sharma and Shubman Gill. How impressed were you? It was a good start. They both looked decent and confident. Talk to me about the Indian start.
See, I mean, they have done best what they could have. I mean, the first objective was not to lose a wicket, and they didn't lose a wicket. And there were not too many playing and missing either. Rohit did play a streaky shot of Manchester Lion, which was in the air and went for 4 to the left of point. Other than that, I don't think there were too many alarms for India. And but this is something they have to keep doing. Just the beginning of possibly a mammoth effort. I mean, if India are to make a match of it'll take a mammoth effort. So this is just the beginning. I mean, 10 overs, yes, they could have did best what they could have. But now the real test will start tomorrow. I mean, like the Indians, Australians were also tired. I mean, tired in the sense that the bowlers were sitting in the dressing room for long hours. So, although they had the time was ideal, 10 overs, they could have gone full tilt. I'm sure they tried their best. But the pitch is such that there was, I mean, like the Indians, there was nothing for the Australian bowlers either. So, I think there are positive intent, yes, I can say that. Hitting the line for that 6 in the last over, and he went for it when the ball was ball was there for it. So they look good. They looked assured. The best part is that they were not beaten, so there were not too many doubts that the Australians could plant in their minds. But this is what they have to keep doing for longer hours.
Okay.
This is just.
You know what is interesting, Joydeep, is on the one hand, this test match, Australia has gotten 480. India needs to bat really well. On the other side, at the Hadley Oval in Christchurch, Sri Lanka are holding the aces. They've got 350 plus. New Zealand is 161 for 5. So the WTC final race, all of a sudden, has that little bit of extra juice and extra spice. Talk to me about, when you chase 480, obviously WTC, it's a good wicket. How would you approach the batting tomorrow? Because there's no question that the Indians will also or should get runs on a wicket like this. Joydeep.
Yeah, also the time they take to get the runs will be a bit of an issue because you have to get about 600 and try and bowl them out. Today there were a couple of balls, one from Jadeja which spun, which KS Bharat missed, went for byes. There was another one that spun to the left-hander, to Khwaja. There was a period after lunch where it was spinning for a while. So I don't know if that's the foot mark or if the pitch started spinning. See, this ball is very new now, so we know from Lion. Once the ball gets a bit older and roughs up a bit, then we'll have to see what Lion and Murphy do on this pitch. So very important day tomorrow because not only for how India bat, but also how this pitch sort of disintegrates or deteriorates and the wear and tear comes. With tomorrow being the third day, there'll be the third round of mowing that will happen on this one. So a little bit of grass will come off, which means a little more bare spots come out. So the usual things for third day happen. So third day and fourth day, the wicket disintegrates, then India has to get 600 and then hopefully bowl them out for 160, 170. That's the only hope they have. So for them, more than how they bat, yes, they have to bat well. There are two opinions about that. But how much will that pitch be as it was in the first 2 days for the next 2 days is the big question if I was an Indian batter.
Devashish, can you please set up the WTC for us? What does India need to do? What are the permutations, combinations? If there is a draw like Joydeep is talking about, suppose this match is drawn, given that the wicket doesn't deteriorate, Bharat Ramraj joins us, I'll come to Bharat in a bit. But Devashish, set up the WTC scenario for us. Which team, where they are at this point, in terms of percentage, winning percentage, who has the chance to qualify?
Yeah, as of now, obviously India still are firm favorites to make it to that final, and because if India draws this game, definitely they are through. But having said that, Sri Lanka needs to win 2-0. If I am not wrong, they need to win 2-0 to leapfrog India. Provided India doesn't win this Test match, then if Sri Lanka wins both the two test matches, they will end up 61 percentage points. Bharat, correct me if I'm wrong. So I think as of now, India looks favorite to make it to the final. Obviously, Australia definitely, we all know they are already in that final, but Sri Lanka have to win 2-0 against New Zealand.
Okay, let me go to Bharat on that. Bharat, do you want to add to that? Do you want to set this up? Because from what I know, 12 points for winning, 6 for a tie, no for a loss, and 4 points for a draw. Australia 68 percentage, India 60 at 61 at this point, and at this point in time, Sri Lanka is 53-54. So what are the scenarios like? Can Sri Lanka leapfrog India? Is that a realistic proposition? Bharat Ramraj.
Yeah, they have to win 2-0. They're doing actually well at Hadley Oval. If you notice, they scored 355 on a pitch that is actually seeming around New Zealand. I don't think bowled well, and then New Zealand currently at 162 for 5. So never know. But the pitch is seeming around, and Sri Lanka are doing well there. Yeah, but they have to win 2-0. It's as simple as that.
But so for example, if India loses, does Sri Lanka still need to win 2-0? Suppose it's a draw, does India qualify?
2-0. It's simple. Sri Lanka have to win 2-0 or it is all over for them.
Okay. And the question that I had asked you about Cameron Green before I go to Joydeep again. Cameron Green, the statistics you had given us, talk to me about Cameron Green.
Yeah, you have to go back to 2017-18 season. I think played against Tasmania, took a fifer. Then he had a back injury. He came back in a year or so, and then played that magnificent knock against Queensland in 2019-20 season. That was a Sheffield Shield game. I guess Western Australia were 53 for 7. They looked like they would go down there, and then absolutely hammered out the Queensland attack. He and I think Jai Richardson scored over 21 runs and they put on a stand of 150 or whatever. So, and then it was a memorable draw. From there, he has gone from strength to strength. And yeah, the BGT Border Gavaskar Trophy in 2020-21, he played in that series, obviously. It seemed like at that time it felt as if he was a batter who was a little bit slow in terms of his footwork against spin bowling. Obviously, this track is not doing lot for spinners. It was only a little bit of slow turn, but he seems to improve his game against spin. His footwork seems to improve. He seems to play a few more shots in spinners. So yeah, he's doing very well across formats. Obviously, he's also there. He will also be seen in the IPL. So. Someone who can become next great all-round.
Let me go to Joydeep. Let me go to Joydeep and Athreyo on. I mean, he set it up for Cameron Green that his footwork is more assured, that he looks better against spin compared to earlier. That 53 for 7, that 100 obviously shows his potential. Joydeep, is this the best possible track for someone like a Virat Kohli to come back to form? Because Indore was a minefield. The first 2 test matches difficult, but this one, Virat Kohli should fancy his chances.
Spot on. All the batters, just of Virat Kohli. See, when we play in India with the WTC in the picture in the last couple of years, we play on difficult wickets. You know, we always say our batters are not getting runs. It's not easy out there. This is one which is just come like out of the blue. And everybody will be keying up for this one. Today, we also saw a couple of times Shubman Gill shaping outside off stump, and after the ball was gone to the keeper, he was doing this. I have this for tomorrow. So everybody is lining up to bat on this pitch. And I have a feeling that India could get 600. I wouldn't put it past them.
Okay. Athreyo, if I can take it from there, last match, dancing down the track, bowled to Nathan Lyon. Today, dancing down the track, 6. Clearly, he had the confidence to do it again. Not circumspect, went full on. And on television, at least what we saw, Rohit Sharma applauding that shot, patting him on the back, as if it was a kind of a reinforcement from the captain. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, these things matter a lot. I mean, when you get out playing one particular shot without too many and held responsible for that, and to repeat that shot so early in the next again takes a lot of courage, takes a lot of confidence, and he was sure to connect that. That's number one. Number two is at the point you make that the captain is encouraging him to play his play according to his instincts. So these things matter, and this is a kind of a pitch, as we have all seen and we have all discussed, where batsmen can take a few liberties when they see a chance. So that was a statement of a shot that okay, whatever happened in the past, it's in the past. I'm not going to be bogged down about that. I'm going to go about my job in my own way. So that was a statement as well as I mean indication of what goes through this batter's mind. So that was something that probably we'll see a few more tomorrow.
Before I go to Joydeep, just by way of announcement for our viewers, quality cricket writing on our platforms. Atra Mukhopadhyay every day writing quality cricket stuff. Read the editorial on Ravi Ashwin, which is already up there, why he is one of the greats. We analyze in comparison with people from the past, like a Bishan Bedi, like an Erappalli Prasanna, like a Harbhajan and a Anil Kumble, and why Ashwin is up there. Bharat will start writing from the 15th onwards. So quality cricket writing, not simply video content, but in written content as well, we will be right up there and are already right up there. Joydeep, your thoughts before I go to Debashish again.
Yeah, just on that, I think, the reason Rohit went and padded Shubman Gill as coaches, we always tell our players, one is, was the decision right to play the shot? In the execution? If the decision wasn't right, the ball choosing, that's where, you can get better. But if the execution was right, that's pardonable. So I think what happened with that was he had lost the shape of the shot in the last test match. So he said, yeah, if that's the way Shubman Gill plays. Now he's just not going to stop because he's playing a test match or he's playing something to qualify for the WTC. He'll play the same way. But he had lost shape of the shot, which was wrong. So the execution part was wrong. So what Rohit must have said is, yeah, right shot, right execution, kept the shape.
Got it. Debashish, when I talk about the Indian batting, I also need to talk about Australian bowling. I mean, last test match, a Nathan Lyon, a Matthew Kuhneman, and even a Todd Murphy had it relatively easy. Yes, Lyon bowled brilliantly, but he got tremendous assistance. So it will also be a test of the Australian spinners. You've got 480 on the board. Now go do the job. If India gets 600 like Joydeep is saying, then clearly you are under the pump. You failed your team. How important is it for the Australian bowling as well? Because the three spinners, they will be under the cosh, under the pump, have to ask questions of the Indian batting. Debashish.
See, patience will be the key. Bowling on the third wicket. Obviously, and all the three bowlers, and I think, and if you notice that one delivery from Jadeja, that which went for 4, I think that there was a bit of an awkward bounce. So maybe here and there you might see that might come into effect because the Mitchell Stark with the left arm, there will be some footmarks. So maybe the left arm spinners will come into effect. So I am looking forward to Kuhneman to come handy in Australia's bowling, and also patience will be key. You might not get wickets, but all important for Australia will be for Steve Smith to keep continuing attacking the batters. They cannot, because 444 runs ahead. So Australia still has an upper hand. Means if they can make an early inroad, get a couple of wickets, you never know. You never know what might happen. So key for Australia will be patience and persisting attacking field. There has to be close catching fielders all the time, because you can afford to do that now, because you have 444 runs ahead.
Devashi makes a great point. You see, in this series, we've seen Nathan Lyon go round the wicket and attack the stumps because the ball is turning, hitting the patch, LBW is in play. I think in this test match, he just might go back to over the stump, because once Mitchell Stark gets the rough up, if you talk to Saurav Ganguly and you speak to so well, he always had in India a left-arm seamer playing. Whether it was Irfan Pathan, a Nehra, a Zahir Khan, if one was injured, the other would play. Because Harbhajan needed that. And I remember Jack Kelly's batting 116 not on a fifth day over here. Harbhajan gets him. And there was one rough on the pitch, is exactly where the follow-through of the left-arm seamer was. So if Stark bowls a long spell, Nathan Lyon comes over the wicket, and even if the pitch is not helping, there is that rough for him to work on, and he's good enough to exploit that. So it won't be easy for India for sure.
Good point. Good point. I mean, Bharat, the one thing that the Indian bowlers did well in the first session was contain. At least Australia wasn't able to run away. Tomorrow morning, what do you think should be India's approach? Because today they were positive. Tomorrow morning, at one level, India also needs to think like against England. They got 400, India got 600 and bowled England out for 195. They need to set the match up as well. So what do you think can be or should be India's approach first thing tomorrow morning?
Yeah, obviously, first thing, the Indian team, they just have to forget that Australia scored 480 runs. They just find an erase button. Just bad time because whatever we have seen, the turn is very slow, very little turn. There isn't much for seamers. Maybe on day one in the first session, maybe for 5 hours it seemed around. So just have to bat for long periods, and try to aim to get to 600 something like that. Get a rate of 100 and then put Australia back into pressure. So just about going back to basics, sticking to basics, playing time over a period of time, attritional cricket. Even attritional cricket would do. So they just have to get big runs.
Okay. Atro, Saurabh Ganguly, for one, continuously tells me that in India on day 4, day 5, it happens very fast. That, don't judge by a 400 first inning score because things will happen very fast on day 4, day 5. So this Indian first inning, suppose they get to the 480 that Bharat mentioned or more that Joydeep mentioned or even 450, 400, so that they are in the game. They will then fancy their chances with the spinners once again come the second innings. Thoughts about that?
See, I think I don't want to look that far ahead at the moment. For me, it's about India, not losing a wicket in the first half tomorrow. And after that, maybe the first half tomorrow. And take it from there. Take it on an hour-by-hour basis. And instead of looking at 600 or 450 or 480. It's about batting for as long as possible. So, and not think in terms of what may happen on the fourth day or what may not happen on the fifth day. So it's primarily for them. It's about getting as close to 480 as possible and then take it from there. And in order to do that, first they have to ensure that they don't lose early wickets because you don't never know. Batsmen are not very high on confidence. None of them has got runs under their belts, and if in case 2 quick wickets fall, anything can happen. So the first target for Indians should be to not lose wickets in the first hour. After that, they can take it from there. They'll get a good idea. They'll get a good feel of what is there on offer, and they can probably take it forward from there. But day 4, day 5, how much of assistance spinners will get, how fast, how quickly things will happen. I don't think they should be looking at those things at the moment because primary task should be to just bat well. That's it. Don't look at how many you are.
Got it. Last 3 minutes on the men's part before I go into the RCB versus UP game in the WPL, and let me take closing comments on this particular show. Joydeep, what are you expecting? All the aces with Australia, but do you fancy a good Indian batting effort?
I do, and I think India has to bat 4th on this innings. They wouldn't fancy that. I think they need to get 600 and then hopefully have 70 to win, 80 to win. Time is also an issue. So if they get out for 400, which you were saying 80 behind, Australia comes and get 150, 230, 4th innings, anything can happen. We haven't batted well in turning conditions against these spinners. So bat well once, take your time, get your 600 and hopefully, on the last day, bowl them up for 130, 140 and that's the best chance you have.
Okay. Bharat Ramraj, you expect a good Indian effort? Maybe a time for King Kohli to step up?
Yeah, this is India's chance, this is Kohli's chance. Obviously, they're low. Some of the batters are low on confidence. And for Pujara, this is a chance to get a big score because as you know, he's someone who likes to play this attritional brand of cricket. From Australia's point of view, as Joydeep said, Lion might go back to over the wicket. Something we have seen him do it even in Asian conditions. Even if you go back last year in the Lahore Test against Pakistan, when he took 4 wickets, he mostly bowled from over the wicket. But it's only in this series, in this Asian conditions, that is tended to bowl from round the wicket. So that is something that one has to watch out for. As far as India, from an Indian perspective is concerned, they have to get obviously big runs, and this is the chance for Indian batsmen to get big scores because the pitch is still good for batting.
Debashish Sen, before I close it with Atreo, because he's the man on the ground. Your thoughts on the Indian batting? Rohit Sharma, big knock coming up from the captain.
Yes. It will be an ideal scenario for the Indian batters to get the much needed confidence ahead of the big final in June, because that is what you want from your batters. Because ideally, this is still a good batting streak. Maybe as Bharat said, the ball is the spinners. The ball is very slow, so they will have the time. They will have the time to nudge away for runs, and they should also the key for Indian batters will be to stay positive. You cannot afford to be in a defensive frame of mind. You should always look forward to take ones and twos, like as was the case with Khawaja. If you look at that partnership between Khawaja and Cameron Green, they did not lose any opportunity to score a single and a two. They keep the scoreboard ticking, and that is key for a big partnership. When you
Okay.
pick, yeah.
Okay, RCB has won the toss and is elected to bat first, is the news that we are getting from the WPL. We'll come to that in a second. But Atreo Mukhopadhyay, you are there. Today morning, you said not even 5,000 people. Tomorrow with India batting, weekend happening. Your thoughts on that and your expectations from the Indian team?
See, another thing I would like to say that by lunch, I think it was close to 10K or something about that. Right? Between 8,000, 10,000 around lunch. See, of course, I mean, today was a weekday, and yesterday we all know, I mean, it was not the only factor. So today being a weekday, it's very hot. Probably that was one reason why people didn't turn up in large numbers. And tomorrow being a weekend Indian team batting, so we expect something more than what we saw today. But having said that, today was possibly other than the last day in Indore when the match was gone, Australia needed 7-6 to win that day. Other than that day, this was possibly the lowest turnout in this series so far. I mean, I am taking into account Nagpur third day. On that day also, it was known that its match was not going to last that long. But still, there were people, around 10-12,000 were there. In Delhi, all 3 days, there were around, say, 15 or thereabouts. This is definitely the lowest turnout that today was definitely the lowest turnout that we have seen in this series. Having said that, tomorrow, the beginning of the weekend, Indian team batting, probably there will be more. But you also have to take into account that it's very hot over here. I mean, and the stadium is also the stadium is not at the heart of the city. It takes some time to get there. I mean, people have to travel a fair amount of distance to get there. So those are also factors. But anyway, having said that, I am expecting a tomorrow.
Yeah, and we'll get Atreo Mukhopadhyay in the stadium early, and we will get his report around 9 a.m. as to what's going on in terms of the build-up. As you join Rohan, Debashish, Bharat, and Trisha in the morning with Atreo, building up from the stadium, a big batting day coming up for India, as all my guests have already said. Women's IPL, rather Women's Premier League, RCB versus UP. RCB has won the toss and elected to bat. Bharat, what's going wrong with your city? The women are doing exactly what the men do. I can get you to smile. Good. What's going on, my friend?
Not sure I can say much what is going wrong. But yeah, it seems like a side that is short on confidence, obviously. And even if you look at Smriti Mandhana as the captain, she doesn't seem like, at least as of now, it doesn't seem like she's able to lift the side. So they're really struggling, even in relation to how they bowled. The first match, on occasions, they have not batted as well. So overall basis, both batting and bowling, they have not been good at all. Even if you look at the star players, someone like Ellis Perry, she has not come good. Obviously, she's tried to hit the hard length for a lot of this tournament. But Perry is obviously, if you look at her career over 10 years, 12 years, she's more of a swing bowler. So at least with the white kookaburra, not doing much of a 2-3 overs, she can at least look to swing the ball up front. But she's not done that. So even the star players have not done well. Heather Knight has played really well for them.
Let me take that to Joydeep. That star player point. Joydeep, if you take the men's version, you had a Chris Gale, you had an AB de Villiers, you had a Virat Kohli, and all of a sudden you're like, boss, how can this team lose? And they just unraveled. Look at this team, and even think of the auction. You were there in the studio with us, and they went off the blocks. And Elise Perry, a Sophie Devine, a Smriti Mandhana, tuck. and all of a sudden you're like RCB, man. And look here, Smriti Mandhana all of a sudden under pressure as skipper. Elise Perry not performing. You went with a Sophie Devine who got a 66 or 45 in the last game. Wasn't enough because corresponding 25 ball 60 from the opponents. So has not been enough. So what is going wrong with RCB? And give me a sense, what does Smriti Mandhana has to do? Because poster girl, Virat Kohli, poster boy of Indian cricket, same fate of the two captains.
Quickly, life has changed for Smriti Mandhana and Harmanpreet Kaur on both fronts after the World Cup. When the auction happened, we were all together. We knew where Smriti was, where Harman was, and look where they are now. Who's smiling more? That's how this game goes. Yeah, I think the game. They haven't performed as a team, and he spoke about the RCB team with ABD and Virat and Chris and everybody else. They didn't have a bowling at the time, and they got the bowling back. They just didn't gel well together. If you see the best teams in the IPL, it's about the balance of the team. If you talk on an MI, which is the number one team, then a CSK, then probably a KKR, which is won it twice. It's always of the balance of the team. And I think as far as the balance of the team is concerned, unless your big players perform, see, your 4 foreign players have to be really doing well. Then your Indian players come. So that's another 3. And then comes your non-Indian domestic players. So that's where I feel that they just haven't got off the blocks. I wouldn't put it, beyond them to make a match over. But it's a short tournament. This is not the IPL. It's not a 2-month tournament where you can make it up at the end. You better get going. It just hasn't happened for them. Can't put a reason to it, really.
Acho, I know it's a UP versus the RCB game, but yesterday you made the point about Saika Ishaq that her real test starts, and look at who she got. She got a Jamie Rodriguez. She got a Meg Lanning. It was a statement from Saika Ishaq, 3 wickets. How impressed were you about her temperament?
Yeah, temperament is something that stands out. I mean, she's kind of confident. Looks very confident, quite fearless. Who she's up against. Looks like. And she's unafraid to bowl in the difficult times. She bowls in the power play, bowls right at the death. So, I mean, what can I say? I mean, 9 wickets in three matches, a fairly good economy rate, and taking out some big names. So, it's a huge confident booster for her. Also, a compliment for the persons who backed her, who identified talent and who backed her. Also, her coaches, Bengal women's bowling coach Shiv Sagar Singh, Jhulan Goswami as a mentor over here. They all played a part, but ultimately she had to deliver. That's what she has done. I think we will see more of her.
Johnny?
Murtaza Lotkar is the first person who took me from the senior net and came and told me. Unfortunately, Murtaza is not with us anymore, but he's the one who took me 6-7 years back and said, "Come and watch this girl. She's going to be a star one day." And Murtaza, was the head coach of the Bengal team to Richa and this girl was the 2 girls that he's always used to speak about. Look where they are now. She does it for Bengal. She's done it in the Challenger. And what she has is tremendous control over the pace which she bowls. The best spinners I have played in my life, even in one-day cricket, they would bowl 6 balls at 4 different paces. The moment you bowl to good batters at one pace, they'll milk you. But the moment, like an Ashwin, he'll toss it up in the air, he'll bowl a bit slower, he'll bowl sharp, one will go away. Little subtle things. And she doesn't open up, she's not afraid because she's done this for Bengal. She's done it in Challenger as well. So she's bowled to the best. She's bowled to a Harman, she's bowled to a Smriti, she's bowled to a Shefali. So she's just taken again a notch above.
Okay. I remember going to Jhulan's house some months back and we were chatting. And whose call was it? It was Saika Ishaq, because Jhulan Goswami takes a personal interest in Saika Ishaq and her training. And having sort of been associated with the CAB award functions, one knows that Saika Ishaq has been a star in the Bengal cricketing circle. So she's not new. And what is interesting, Debashish Sen, look at the Indian left arm spin. Radha Yadav hasn't set the world on fire, except, and we tout her as an all-rounder, nothing much there. Rajeshwari Gaikwad has not really fired, too slow. People have worked her out, and all of a sudden you have a Saika Ishaq knocking the doors. This is what a WPL can do. Open doors up for the youngsters, because now there is television. There will be glare. So people will say, how can you not pick a Saika Ishaq? How can you not give chances when they've done well? I think that's the biggest contribution of the WPL. Debashish said.
And the purple cap.
And the purple cap.
Absolutely, that's the best part of WPL. Means we have seen so many talents being announced in IPL. So this is what's going to be for WPL as well, and obviously the best part what I like about Saike is her confidence. Means obviously, I still remember the first match. Harshas asked him, "आपको wicket लेना है?" So the confidence that oozes out means obviously हम bowler है तो हमको wicket लेना ही है. So that is what confidence is all about, and the way she has mingled with Haley Matthews and in that Mumbai Indians dressing room means obviously the likes of Charlotte Edwards, Rulan Goswami, Haley Matthews, and she has she has been the rock star in that Mumbai Indians. According going by the social media post of the Mumbai Indians, you see most of the posts are circled around Saika Isha, and she's a vibrant character. And so I am very,
You are
very
right, Devashish. I am one for stories because I think we as media people, we tell stories, and Saika Ishaq is a great story. And that is what sport is all about. Sport is about aspiration, fulfillment of dreams, and this is a fulfillment of dreams kind of story. Bharat, Smriti, Sophie Devine, Elise Perry, Heather Knight, Richa Ghosh and Erin Burns. On paper, boy, I mean, this is a team. How can you say this team has lost 3-on-3? Smriti, great. Devine, greatest. Elise Perry, perhaps the greatest. Heather Knight, captain of England, a legend. Richa Ghosh, India's best finisher. Erin Burns, just need to go and watch the WBBL and you know what Erin Burns is capable of. Then a Shreyanka Patil. And then, of course, you have a Renuka Singh who hasn't done really well. This team, why do you think aren't gelling? This is a quality cricket side.
Just wanted to ask one question. Have they made any changes today? I'm here. Have they made any changes today? Have they made any changes today?
Erin Burns comes in place of Megan Shoot.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
and
time,
justifiably so, Bharat, because Megan Shoot in
that's why I
India
asked.
hasn't done well in the last few games. Yeah, go on.
I thought they could have also looked at Dane Van Nyker because she could have provided a little bit of spin option. Obviously, she's not played for 1.5 years. Yes, she's not played for 1.5 years. She has had ankle problems, fitness problems, but they could have looked at her. Yeah, the star players have not done well, as we know. Even Mandana, she was tucked up again by, I think, Ashley Gardner in the last match, and she got out to, once again, Ashley Gardner. Their openers haven't really got going as much. And then you look at someone like, again, Elise Perry, she's looked to hit a hard length. Even in terms of captaincy, if you look at Smriti Mandana, what really surprised me was, one of the matches, she had the fine leg up, and Elise Perry kept bowling hard length. These sort of things, these sort of small things finally add up. So somewhere it perhaps again goes back to Smriti Mandana's captaincy, where she's not been able to lift the side so far. Yeah, she needs players to do well. Obviously, even Megan Scott has not done well. She's lost her radar. She's bowled down the leg side, drifted down the leg side quite a few times, and even Renuka Singh has not taken wickets. The last match, Priti Bose went for a lot of runs. Overall, there's nothing really working for them. So
Okay.
far.
After, if I can come to you, when a team is under the cosh, just like RCB is, their social media got in, talked a lot about Sania Mirza joining the RCB ranks and talking to the players. Can someone with an external influence inspire the girls? Because ultimately, she stands for fight. She stands for the ability to win. Is that possible? I mean, that you have an outside influence kind of coming to talk to the girls? Because when I see leadership, Atreo, a Sophie Devine, captain of New Zealand, and Elise Perry, captain of Australia in the past and perhaps the greatest, Heather Knight, captain of England. So there is tremendous leadership ability also in that team, but it's not firing. Your thoughts?
There is something called the RCB curse.
Bharat will cry. You shouldn't say that.
I'm more of a Karnataka fan than RCB fan. So.
Okay. Yes, sir.
This Sani, having her as a mentor or whatever you call her, it's an experiment, isn't it? I mean, we haven't seen a lot of things in Indian cricket. I mean, India's cricket ecosystem, we have not really a lot of sports person from other fields getting involved with the cricketers. Well, you can say Neeraj Chopra, the Indian girls under 19 team. That was a one-off, and that was for one day, as Neeraj said in the conclave. So this Sania Mirza thing is still an experiment, and I do think that a successful sports person, a woman like Sania Mirza, who has fought adversities like more than anybody else, broke the prototypes and fought her way to the top. She can be an influence, a positive influence on others on sports persons from other disciplines. That can happen. But what exactly her role is, how much time she spends with the team, what kind of inputs are taken from her, those things we are not very clear about. So it's an experiment. So let's see. I mean, 3 matches is too early to say that whether this experiment has clicked or it has not. But time will tell. I mean, whether this is going to be this is going to be something that people are going to sustain, people are going to look at more frequently or not. So that we have to see. And but I do think that people from other disciplines can have an impact on players from other disciplines.
Okay, Devashish, Grace Harris is back, and it's again a good side. Alyssa Healy, Deepti Sharma, Devika Vaidya, Grace Harris, Sophie Eccleston, Kiran Navgire has been in very good form. Talia Magra, Anjali Saraugi, Rajeshwari Gaikwad. It's a good team, UP. It's a good side, and now that they've got Grace Harris back, I mean, all of us were talking about the other day when she was sort of left out for whatever reason after the 25 ball 60 odd. That why? But this side, I mean, if UP has to get back, they will fancy their chances against a depleted RCB, at least mentally depleted RCB. If RCB loses tonight, 4 losses means almost the campaign is done. How do you fancy UP's chances against the Royal Challengers of Bangalore?
Yeah, I would fancy a great chance for UP to bounce back after the loss against Delhi Capitals by 42 runs. And with Grace Harris comes, that bolsters the batting. It bolsters the UP Warriors batting. And why on earth would you drop a cricketer who has scored 60 of 25 balls? That was very strange, and we were laughing to see the decision by the UP Warriors management the last time, getting in Shabnam Ismail. But that also somewhat weakens the bowling. If you see the UP Warriors fast bowling department with Shabnam Ismail, the pace, obviously she went for a lot of runs in the last match. But having said that, I think they have enough firepower with as you rightly mentioned, that Kiran Navgire firing in all cylinders in the first 2 matches, and with Alyssa Healy at the start. So I think if they can withstand, remember this match is played at the Brabant Stadium. It's a small ground, the boundaries are short. So 200 runs, the team batting first has scored 200 runs. So I think it can be chased. I would put my money on UP Warriors.
Joydeep, Alyssa Healy, Grace Harris, Talia Magra, 3 Australians in that lineup, each can win a game on their night. If you take a look at Talia Magra's recent efforts, brilliant form, are they being properly utilized? Grace Harris all of a sudden dropped. Talia Magra perhaps can bat up the order. Are they being utilized properly in that UP lineup? More when you have a Lisa Thalekar sitting in that change room.
Yeah, you make a very important point. One is that you get the players. You get the best in the world, but how you play them, what role do they play for their team? And we were just not talking about form. See, RCB on paper is such a good side, but they're the best players in the world. But the football team that has the best 2 players in the world are out of the Champions League. So that's how it goes. It doesn't matter who you have. It's about how well you're playing. And I don't think UP has utilized its big players well. They would have been even better off. I think this is a great chance for RCB to feel we'll turn it around from here. This is a beatable team. They haven't hit the straps, but they're not out of it. And, there is, after 3 losses, our time is coming. They know it. It's not possible that all of us, with the strength we have in this dressing room, that all of us will keep failing every day. So UP has to play well, and I think this is RCB's game. I think they'll be back.
Bharat, Shriyanka Patil, one of the other players who's really impressed, especially, lower down the order. Her batting was excellent. The way Shriyanka Patil has come to the party, somebody to keep an eye on, especially from the Indian standpoint? Your thoughts?
Yeah, she's done it in domestic tournaments as well. She's someone who's known to bowl stump to stump line, was quicker to the air. She just sticks to her basics. Even with the bat in hand, one has seen in domestic tournaments or videos on YouTube that she looks to play the paddle, she looks to play the scope. She's someone who can even play the sweep shot against pace bowlers. So she can be a very good utility cricketer. We saw that in the last game as well when others were going for runs, just stuck to her basics and took the wickets. So yes, she's someone who can really do well, and hopefully she will do well for India as well in the future.
You know, when I think of Indian stars, Athrew, the one player who all of us thought she got 1.9 crores, young player, finisher in the World Cup, will set the WPL on fire, Richa Ghosh. Your thoughts on Richa Ghosh so far? Hasn't really fired for RCB.
Yeah, sometimes these things happen. Yeah, like everybody else, I'm also surprised that because everybody was expecting her to get going in this tournament. So did I. And it hasn't happened so far. I mean, there are certain things which are difficult to explain. I mean, which are difficult to comprehend and difficult to explain. It's one of those things. I mean, on paper, she has everything. She has everything going in her favor. Like these are she is used to these kind of conditions. These are good batting pitches. These are fast outfits. There are some of the grounds have short boundaries, and there is nothing in the pitch there is not much. Let's put it that way for the bowlers. So everything was everything seems to be working in her favor, but she still hasn't got going. Whether it's her over eagerness to perform, or the other players, or a bit of a bad luck, or other teams having a good strategy for her, or it's a combination of all those things. It could be one of those things. But yeah, I mean, at some stage I expect her to come good, and I hope it's not too late. If it doesn't happen today, probably it won't happen for her team.
Yeah, Debashish?
Yeah, another player who has been disappointing is Deepti Sharma. Means take from that T20 World Cup. Means she has enough experience. So it's time that she starts delivering. It means obviously she has won matches, but not consistently, and that is what we want. And this is a perfect opportunity, as you have rightly mentioned, someone like Saika Ishaq posing challenges to Radha Yadav and a Rajeshwari Gaikwad. Maybe Deepti Sharma, someone like a Deepti Sharma, she does need to fire because that is what and you are the vice captain of the side as well of UP Warriorz.
You know,
Rajeev?
yeah, when you're a Saika, it's not easier because you're trying to make it. When you have a reputation to protect, it's a lot more tougher. So for a Richa or a Smriti, they know they have expectations. Saika has just come out. Not too many people knew about her. Son, she's come and she's taken the tournament on fire. So right now, when Saika comes and plays next year or goes into play for India, that's when she'll feel the pressure. And if she goes for one match, 4 overs, 30, people will say, what happened to the old Saika? So it comes with pressure. Priti Mandan has got out to off-spinner all 3 matches. He will be tested again with off-spin. So there are plans in place, but you have to come through that if you're that good. See, Richa, in the Indian team, she has real stars to play with. Here, she is one of the stars, and the team is not firing. So there's a lot of extra pressure on her. There is Priti, and there is Shefali, and there is Harman, and everybody else. And she goes and puts the icing on the cake. Here, she has to make the dish and then serve it. Not easy.
Okay, let's last 5 minutes on the show. Let's do the matchups and close it and take predictions. After Smriti Mandana versus Deepti Sharma, right up front, juicy off spin against Smriti Mandana. 3 times you've got her. Again, Deepti Sharma knows her inside out. That can be a real matchup.
Yeah, as Joydeep said, that could be Smriti Mandana versus an off spinner. So and there you have one. I mean, one of India's most well-known off spinners. So that's definitely one some battle in the battle that we can look forward to.
And they play each other in the nets all the time.
Correct. That's why I said that. Exactly. That's precisely why I said that. Bharat Ramraj, if there is one ball that will trouble Alyssa Healy, the incoming delivery, Renuka Singh, incoming delivery, Alyssa Healy, another matchup, Alyssa Healy versus Renuka Singh. Bharat? Bharat, can you hear me? There's a bit of an audio issues there. Debashish, your thoughts? Alyssa Healy versus Renuka Singh?
Absolutely, and it's a very juicy contest because remember the semi-final in T20 World Cup, and obviously Alisa Dili did not make it count, did not score big. But obviously this is the two spirited Renuka spirited in the Indian bowling attack, and Alisa Dili opener in the Australian team. So this will be a very another matchup. I would someone look forward to a Talia McGrath, because the innings she played in the last match, I am banking on Talia McGrath to come good.
Yeah, I mean, she's one of the greats. She's not talked about in that Australian side because everybody is a star, whether it's an Elise Perry or a Meg Lanning or a Beth Mooney or an Alyssa Healy or a Grace Harris or a Megan Shute, or a Jess Jonasson, but Talia McGrath in that Australian team, if anybody has watched this sport over the last couple of years, coming in there and Talia McGrath all of a sudden takes the match, even if there are 4 wickets down or 5 wickets down. The other matchup, Joydeep Mukherjee, is Richa Ghosh versus maybe a Sophie Eccleston, because Richa Ghosh towards the end, trying to finish, big shots, and there you have the world's #1 bowler. Joydeep.
Yeah, that's a mouth-watering one, and it'll actually make Richa grow also. One is, Richa still hasn't reached the stage, the ultimate finisher like a Dhoni, like a Yuvraj, where he can depend. She has a lot of ability, but I still feel the best of Richa is yet to come. We sometimes forget she's 21, 22. So some amount of maturity comes, then she chooses a shot. She can hit any ball out of the park. But even in the Super Over, when India versus Australia, she got out the first ball she hit for 6. Second ball she got out. It was Smriti Mandhana who came and got those runs in the last 4 balls. If she had got out, Australia would be chasing 6 in 6 balls. The match would be over. So that responsibility bit in the WPL, Richa Ghosh has to take. In India team, other people take. She comes and just blasts her way out. Here, she has to be the one who takes the responsibility.
Very good point there. And Bharat Ramraj was trying to give us a bit of a modern art with his internet, but that's fine. We will accept that, and let me take quick predictions from my other guests, Joydeep, Devashish and Atro. Atro, you go first. RCB comeback or UP winning it? Atro, I think his screen is frozen. People are just sort of falling like 9 pins now. Joydeep, you are there. Yes.
We are moving.
What's going on?
We
Yes,
are moving.
you are.
RCB.
So what's happening?
back.
RCB?
I want this tournament to heat up. RCB back.
Wow. RCB. Devashish?
RCB,
Oh,
Warriors,
Just because I chose RCB.
because you chose RCB, I have to go with our UP Warriors.
okay. So Bharat Ramraj fell off without giving us a prediction. For whatever reason, Atro's screen was frozen. But Joydeep says RCB. Devashish says UP Warriors. Exactly a minute left. Yes, Joydeep.
What about you?
I think RCB, because I'm always for the underdog. Let RCB win. Let the tournament get spiced up. Let Smriti Mandhana start scoring big runs, because you want the Indian Top Gun to fire. Let's see what happens.
Mama, this is for you.
Mama, this is for you. That's the fun we have on our show. Post-match, it'll be Joydeep, Devashish, Trisha Ghoshal will come back along with Bharat Ramraj to give you the post-match analysis. Who wins? Trisha Ghoshal says UP Warriors.
UP Warriors, UP Warriors.
Oh, there you go. Two each.
Come on.
Joydeep and me for RCB. Devashish and Trisha.
They are out. They cannot.
Okay.
make a
So
comeback.
let's not
See you
get
later
RCB
tonight.
out.
See you later tonight.
See you later tonight, says Joydeep. On that note, thank you very, very much for watching, folks. It'll be Trisha Ghoshal at the end of the match to take you with the post-match analysis. For the moment, from me, and as I said, multi-sport. You saw our coverage of the boxing press conference. The Nikhat Zareen interview comes up at 8 o'clock from G. Rajaraman. There is an anti-doping seminar that's going on with the IOA. We'll get that covered. We've already got Abhijit Deshmukh in Birmingham. From Monday, the All England coverage starts here on Rev Sports. On ground, multi-sport, right through the world. Of course, optimal cricket, men and women. Thank you very much for watching.